Okay, guys, another show and another very special guest today with us. I'm going to introduce you to this amazing human being sitting here in front of you today, and I will let him to take over from there because you're going to hear a very phenomenal story. It's very interesting how he became, a.k.a. Mr. Investor. So David Kang, as I said, Mr. Investor. He's has been a day trading full time since 2014, so 6 years right now, and made six figures straight from his dorm. So that's an interesting story. I think a lot of you would like to hear that. Consistently earns over 5 to 10K per week. Became a top 10% trader before the age of 25. And again, for more information, as always, you can go to prosperity-trading.com. That's prosperity-trading.com for more information about what David does with the trading. But first of all, I want to say big thank you for being on the show again, and just pleasure to seeing you again, bro.
Thanks, brother. I really appreciate you, asking me, and I'm always down for anything that you want to do. So.
Thanks. That's awesome. Good to hear. Good to hear. Listen, I already know your story. It's pretty incredible, pretty insane. I'm sure it didn't change. I mean, we cannot go back to the past. We don't have the time machine and change the past, right? But maybe we can explain people, how did you end up in a position where you started in trading stocks? And I know you have a phenomenal story. So if you can give a short, a long story short version for these people who don't know you yet.
Yeah, for sure. So, my name's David Kang, and I'm 27 years old now, and I got into the stock market when I was 19 years old and my freshman year of college. So I was pursuing violin profession. So I was pursuing becoming a professional violinist. That was my passion. It still is. Sometime in freshman year, I saw some, fellow classmates talking about stocks, and I was very curious to hear what this is all about. They were talking about how much money they made and all the stuff like that. I think it was because, their parents provided them with some money, and I guess they were managing their account or something. But I was very curious. I don't come from a very rich family. I come from a lower class family. And so at that time, from high school to going into college, both of my parents were their health conditions were not very good. So let's just say a lot of our money, that our savings and everything, has been going towards the medical bills. And both of my parents, just could not work anymore, to the point. So it was very stressful time of my life, at a younger age, like thinking about how I have to support my family. And not only that, I have to provide college bills and everything on my own. And which, I do encourage everyone to, I do think, by the time you're 18 or whatnot, you're supposed to be on your own. But it was just stressful, right? Because, you're just worrying about your parents being sick and all that. So anyways, I really wanted to make more money, right? So I was making money through playing the violin, playing at weddings and venues and even in the streets, to get by and paying with everything that I need to pay for. So I made this app called StockTwist. I didn't make it. I made an account through the website called StockTwist. It's like a Twitter for traders and investors, because they were talking about how you can make it a free account and follow these trader experts somewhat. Anyone can claim to be an expert. So I just made one. I just followed this one guy that had a lot of followers, and he seemed like he knew what he was talking about. He went by like some sort of biotech guru. He talked about some biotech stocks, and that he said this biotech stock is going to go up, and he was talking great stuff about it. So I got very, very anxious or excited to put my money. I was 19. I was only had $2,000 saved up, and I just went all in because I was young, naive, and I was just like, man, I really need this, and put my money in. 30 minutes later during class, I opened my phone, underneath my desk, and I checked that I was up $300, and I sold it immediately, because I'm like, wow, I never made $300 in less than 30 minutes doing nothing, but just kind of, it didn't require much work. Obviously it was beginner's luck, right? But that inspired me. That made me think, wow, like, what if I had more money, and what if I actually knew what I was doing? Like, how much more could I make out of this, And I was just very curious. And that day I left class. I literally left class and went to the library and asked the librarian, hey, can you lead me to the section of all the books of trading and investing? And that's how my journey really started. So
Man, that is insane. That's a good story. And how have you ever finished? I mean, have you finished the college? Have you finished, like, what was the
yeah,
story you finished?
yeah. So the story is, it was a very stressful 4 years.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I was, pursuing music, doing the whole concert master role. I was getting scholarship for it, so I had to kind of
Okay.
still do it. But they said that, as long as you're still part of the orchestra program and everything, I
Mhm.
minored in music and then I decided to go into psychology. And we'll talk about why I got into psychology because there's a lot of
Yeah.
trading psychology that's involved. A lot of people
There's
don't
a,
know.
there's a question for that as well, for that part. And yeah, I mean, the story is phenomenal. Like, I think one part, because you helped out your parents. I mean, you're probably helping out your parents right now. I think last time we covered you've been talking about, property and doing something with that. And you're from South Korea or North Korea? Which part are you from?
Oh, South Korea, yeah.
South
No,
Korea. South
don't
Korea.
think I'm out of North Korea.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so I mean, it's a beautiful thing, So I wish everybody, being in your position. I mean, where you can basically help your parents. They're both not working, right?
Well, yes, yeah. I mean, I'm able to provide for them now, so they're just
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a beautiful thing, man. So that's, kudos for you for doing that. So jumping into the stock market, because I think that's what the people came here for. I mean, because I love the stories, first of all. So I just wanted to, for you to share that, quick. But first things first, right? You said you went into library. You said, listen, give me all these trading books. I want to dive in and kind of start learning what these trades is all about, how I can duplicate that success that I made, these 300 bucks, maybe not even duplicate it 10 times, make it, a day or whatever you set your targets for yourself at that time. But how did you educate yourself? Like, besides the books, was it the part of the, like, have you searched out for the mentors, or was there some
Right.
technical analysis books or trading books? Maybe you can cover, kind of a basic steps for the people who are looking to get kind of an entry point into education part.
Yeah, I think that's a very good question because a lot of people that want to jump in, they don't know who to trust, and they try to learn it on their own, and then
Yeah.
they try to learn it on their own with these kinds of things. If you really want to succeed fast, and not necessarily fast, but you want to develop good habits and really get on the right not perfect, but really good successful road is to the right thing to do is to hire a mentor, right? That's something that I would have done back in the days, if I could go back in time. That's something I didn't do. I took the longer route, which was to save money. I don't want to pay anybody.
Mm.
I'm just gonna read the books on the library because it's free, and go to like YouTube, maybe watch some videos. So honestly speaking, it was a long road of 3 years until I finally figured out, what. So it took me 3 years of wins and losses, up and down, lots of you know lots of losses, in terms of, you thought that you thought you knew what you're doing, but then you actually didn't, So um, it really consisted me of like, for me personally, I'm a little unique in my opinion because I didn't take, any some sort of a paid course or some sort of training. I took the educational materials that was free online, like Wikipedia, or not Wikipedia, but like Investopedia.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me longer because I realized a lot of the free information out there, while they can be helpful, it will take you a lot longer to figure out which materials are actually
Yeah,
legit.
they're leaving the good bits, the good bits
Yeah.
for the paid course that they want you to buy. Yeah. So
Yeah, well, yeah, and so it's just kind of like it took me a long time, and what really made me a better trader is when I started to write things down on my journal. So I started to really write down like my feelings and my emotions because I noticed that when I was putting my money in and everything, when it was going up or down, there was a lot of emotions. And for me, I was a very emotional guy back there because I was a
you,
musician.
yeah, you're an artist. You play
Yeah.
music. So yeah,
So
makes sense.
no background in business, no financials, none of my family, it's none of that. So it was a
Yeah.
lot for me. And now, anyways, I had that $2,000, obviously, with just following that one person in terms of like the public, like, these are like, let's say if you follow someone on Twitter, like they might tweet something about it, right? They might give a little bit of a clue or like a headline. And then I would just think about that. And then I would just based on that and my analysis, I would just follow along. So my freshman to sophomore and junior year, my account did grow, and I made my first 5 figures, growing that $2,000 to $27,000. And then, there's always like, these journey where you think you know what you're doing. You think you got the system down at an early time. You're like, man, I'm a stock guy. I know what I'm doing. And then, people get a little cocky. That's just what human beings are. You get a little bit egotistical. And I got to that stage until I got humbled by the market, right? In terms of, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just following somebody. And then next thing you know, I lost like over $20,000 back down to only $7,000. I was still up, but I was devastated, at 20 years old. By then, losing that much money was, and especially, when I was paying monthly to my parents, that some of my portions of my earnings, none of my parents knew that I was doing stock market. I didn't want anyone to know. No one knew I was doing stock market. I was just, everyone knew me as a violin boy. Oh yeah, the violin boy. I won the talent show in my college. Everybody knew me as a violin boy. I wanted to keep it that way, and because then, people start, talking about, oh, why are you doing stocks? What is this? And, anyways, I just wanted to just see how this journey goes on my own and then tell people. But I realized as I was reading, I came across a book called Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. And I really realized that this book was really, really different from other books I read. A lot of the books, I waste a lot of time reading junk books, honestly, the investing and this other stuff that doesn't work, old, outdated data, that it really does not apply to this current market conditions and everything. So for anyone that really wants to, really learn how to do this, learn from somebody that actually went through all of it, all the experience. It will save you a lot of time and a lot of money. And that's what I tell all of my students, like, you have to continuously invest into your education. And I didn't know much about investing into myself. I always thought just money should be just into some sort of property or something.
Invested in the market, right? Like, I get the money, like you invested it into the stock market. So instead, would you think if you instead of just took that 20K that you lost in the stock market, and if you invested at least the half of it, 10K, into a mentor, you probably came out probably
a lot bigger, a lot in terms of, probably
exactly.
speed too, but
yeah. But again, that's what I said. We don't have a time machine, and we cannot go back into the past. We can just review the past and, make a clever decisions going forward. But that's awesome, man. That's a great story. Talking about allocating the stocks, because there's a lot of people, again, watching this and thinking like, it's a beginning for them. They're lost, but maybe, stock market, they think it's a good game for them, even though like what's going on in a current stock market, they seeing the success stories of the people just like yourself who are crushing during the coronavirus times. And, so what will be kind of a beginning stage for people to go and allocate the stocks, the winners, the losers? Do you review like 10 Qs and 10 Ks, by SEC? And like, how much time do you actually spend a day or just in general, allocating all these stocks?
Yeah, that's a good question. There is different types of strategies in the stock market, whether you are an investor or you're a trader. So a lot of people think I am an investor, like as in I'm investing into these multi-billion-dollar companies and stuff like that. No, that's not what we do, right? Or nor do I do. So what I do is I look for stocks that are not necessarily big companies like Amazon or Google. I actually look into these companies that want to get bigger, but they never really make it big, right? Because there's lots of, a lot of companies under the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, under the stock market exchange and all that, right? So, when you join my trading team ever, you'll learn all about that. But, for me, I found out that, what works for me the best is what I'm going to stick to. And so I figured out a strategy where I'm more related with the technical analysis, meaning, you look at the company's stocks, not the company itself, like the fundamental one. So there's a difference between technical analysis and fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis is where you actually look into, okay, how much money, revenue is the company making? Is the earnings going to be good in the company? Is the company, they really research about the company, right? For me, I don't care what the company does. I don't care what the company does, right? The point is, I look at a company stock, the ticker. So I say trade the ticker, not the company, right? Not the company itself. You trade the ticker. The ticker is the abbreviation of the company. So, for example, Amazon abbreviation is AMZN on the stock market exchange, right? So what I'm trying to say is, there are different types of strategy. My strategy is I look at the charts, I look at the past history, I look at the charts, these candlesticks on the stocks. they represent human behavior. And so I study the human behavior, and based on whether, because the stock market, there's fear and greed, and that's why I study psychology. I want to learn more about it, and it really, there's a big similarity in the stock market and just in real day-to-day living. So that's when I started to really get into trading psychology, investing into that. There's a lot of risk management portion that you need to be able to master. You have to be a good technical analyst, meaning you're able to look at the charts and look at the past history. You don't necessarily have to look at the companies. Yes, it's good and smart to look into the reading the 8K reports and everything like that. It's good to be familiar with it, but you don't have to spend a long time with it. There's just some keywords that you need to spend time, and that's why I teach. Look for some keywords, takes like less than a minute, and boom, we're done. Moving on. Whether or not so every day we're looking for stock news, right? If the stock press releases saying, especially during this time, the best stocks to play are going to be like the pharmaceutical therapeutic company, because now there's COVID-19, they're always going to be claiming, oh, we're working on a vaccine, we're working on a new ways to cure this, and people are going to get excited. These investors and traders are going to be excited to put their money into these companies and potentially profit a lot of money. And so for me, I've been in this game for a long time now. I can easily spot which stocks are going to be the ones that's going to be based on the headline, based on the number of volume. The volume is how much traders or investors have bought into that stock. And the more it traded the volume, that means there's like activity. With that activity, stocks don't move. So a lot of people think, oh, stocks move because it had great news. No, not necessarily. Stocks don't need news to move, right? Anyone can move a stock as long as you have enough capital, right? If you decide to. So that's why it's also important to understand, if you are trading Amazon, or if you're going to be trading this other little stock company that has a lower float, meaning the float is the number of shares that's offered to the public, right? If there are less shares offered to the public, there's going to be more demand if people are wanting to buy that, and that's going to cause higher volatility. So these stocks can run up to like 20, 40, 80, 100%, 200% in a day. And a lot of people are like, wow, that's crazy, because you hear about these big companies like the blue chip stocks like Amazon, Google, like we talked about. They move like 1%, 2% in a day, maybe, And hearing about stocks, I mean, I just played, me and my trading team, we played a stock going up 200%, 300%. It's almost a normal thing, almost every day, And people are like mind blown by that, but it's been like that for years.
Yeah,
and that's why a lot of people are missing out on this. They think, oh, that must be some sort of scam. The thing is,
yeah.
do you want to make money or not, right? If you're the type of person that like, man, I don't want to put my money into these kind of companies.
David, I think I know what it is. I know what it is, man. It's all those Lamborghini photos that you have on Instagram, man. It's putting people off. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean, man. People are very, like, when it comes to the trading, because yourself, you mentioned when you got into the space, you watched some YouTube videos.
Yes.
I'm sure you don't follow these people, but probably half of those people that you studied before, they probably not here anymore, right? It's because simple reason. Some people, they just scam people, and people are aware of it, because now there's so much information available, and just people, look, people pick on anything. They're going to find some, small mistake or something. They're going to magnify it 10 times, and everybody's going to, so people are definitely, cautious about it, especially now, during the COVID times. If you're still watching this, still happening. But can we talk about the minimum capital that is required for somebody to get started? Because people, again, maybe somebody who's watching, they're willing to get started. They want to maybe start with you. Like, how much money do you actually have to have, in the account to start trading?
Sure. So, I would recommend, from past my experience, right? I started with $2,000. So I usually tell people I recommend, to have at least around 2,000 to 2,500, around that range. I've had guys, that are college students that are, literally, they're broke and they want to learn this. They only have like $500. And I've said, you know what? You can open up a brokerage account where you can deposit your money for like just as little as $100. So you can start as little as $100. Obviously, will you make a lot of money with $100? Probably not, right? If you think about it, a lot of people ask me this question every single day. Hey, if I have this much, how much can I make? I can't tell you, okay? But if you can look at the results that I deliver in terms of like the stocks that I'm able to find and pick and in the target areas, these stocks are running, think about it in percentages. So whatever money you put in and you can make, let's say 10 or 20% in a day, right? If you get a 10% return, let's just say for example, right? And you went in with $2,000 on a trade, okay? And you get 10% of that profit. 2,000 of 10% is what? 200 bucks, okay? Now that doesn't mean it's just one, like, you know, most people will take maybe on average 3 to 5 trades, okay, in a day. So if you do the math and you get those 3 to 5 correct trades, now, you know, don't get me wrong, you're gonna have a one losing trade, right? But 1 or 2 losing trades or whatever it is. Some people can snipe it all, meaning like a guy like me, I can have a day where I can just snipe it, meaning I don't have a losing trade. But the reality is the stock market is not guaranteed. It's a probability. Now, how to increase your probability of winning is all depending on like what we talked about, the trading psychology, your risk management, treating your trading like a business. So if you think like a business owner and you treat this, if you think like a business owner, right? In business, there's always going to be not just always profits. There's going to be recurring losses as well. There's going to be some losses. But as a good business owner, right? A business owner is not going to let that business just run out of money and close down the shop. A good, smart business owner, just like a smart trader, is going to manage its risk. It's going to cut some losses, but they're going to learn how to maximize their gains and to continue. So it's like, you know, in a chart, if you look at it, let's say, you know, if you pull out, let's say your past history record, you can see your chart maybe going like up like this, going down like this, but continuously is making progress. Okay. So,
Yeah.
you know, people need to understand that's not all about every time it has to be wins. There's going to be some losses, but risk management.
Got it. Got it. So can we touch on this subject, because you probably heard this before, the FOMO trading, the
Yes.
the fear of missing out, right? So maybe you can expand on that and just explain people what it is and basically the ways people can overcome that as well.
Yeah, so you know that's one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make. You know, FOMO is what? The fear of missing out. That's what it stands for. So a lot of people, you know, come into the stock market. They're either greedy, they're either very fearful. There's a lot of emotions involved, right? And so in order to, you know, really beat that, there are some strategies that you can do, right? A lot of people think, you know what, you know, that's, you know, the thing that really interested me with this trading psychology was I started seeing real consistent results through when I said I was journaling, right, every day. I was journaling, okay, what was my entry, what was my exit, and how did I play this, what was my emotions back then. And it just helps you to know, you know, when you write things down, you kind of know like, okay, at this time I was nervous. Why? There's always got to be a reasoning, right? Because maybe I went into big public position, maybe I went in too much of a big money than I'm used to, right? Think about that, right? There's always a reason why you're either nervous or you are fearful, right? Or whether you're excited. A lot of people, you know, Warren Buffett once quoted, you know, it's not greed that drives the world, it's envy. Okay, just like back in the days when Bitcoin came out, right? Bitcoin, everyone talked about Bitcoin. The only reason why Bitcoin went up and now nobody's talking about it is because, again, everybody was talking about, oh man, I'm making so much money on Bitcoin, and that word just spread through everybody. Everyone's like, what is Bitcoin? You need to get on it. You need to get on it. That's the fear of missing out. Oh my gosh, like these guys are making so much money. What am I doing? I gotta put my money in too. And the more it keeps, the price goes up. The FOMO is you just the act of not thinking or analyzing. You just heard from your uncle Betty or, you know, uncle, or like an Uber driver saying you're just like, I'm just gonna go in. I'm just gonna go in, all in, baby. And the next thing you know, the stock or the price drops, because that's the moment that you just decide to just go at it with that your analysis, without being patient. That is when
Yeah.
you will
Well,
most likely.
basically what David is saying, when your taxi driver is saying go invest in the Bitcoin, it's too late already. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So to overcome that, like I said, perhaps maybe go in smaller positions. Right? It's like kind of like going to the gym. Right? If you want to learn how to, if you want to become stronger and you want to lift bigger weights, you have to start small first. You can't do the big things if you can't even do the small things, folks. Right? That's a very simple equation. A lot of people don't understand the simple equations to life. If you want to get better, it's all about the gradual growth. It's just like the treating. If you have $2,000 and you want to grow that $2,000, over time, it's a gradual growth. There is no such thing as get rich quick scheme. A lot of people fall for that. That's why you get on social media and you see these guys posting these Lamborghinis. That is a scam, literally, right? I'm not saying that it's a scam. I'll take that back. That's just a marketing technique, right? For you to get FOMO.
That's
Oh
right.
my gosh, I need to get on this level. I need to get on this hype train. But that's not what I do. Because I want to be real and raw, right? I want people to know that it takes the knowledge, experience, and I want you to come in here with the thought of, I want to learn this. I don't want to just follow this one dude blindly, just like I did back in the days, right? That's not going to get you the long-term results. A lot of people come in, they want to make a quick flip. I just need to, make enough to pay my bills. That shouldn't be your goal. Okay, your goal should be, you know what, I am coming in here to learn this. I'm going to invest into my education, and from my knowledge and experience, I know, and you have to believe that it's going to pay off. But what do? People snowflake. They decide to, you know what, I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to go watch Netflix. I'm just going to go chill out with my girlfriend all day long, whatever the excuse is. No excuses. It doesn't matter. I've heard excuses. I've seen my students, I've had thousands of students, over the years. And I know who are going to be the successful ones versus the unsuccessful ones. It's still based on their, attitude, based on their,
there are some traits. Yeah, there are some traits that you can see and identify if a person is going to be successful or not while trading. Because I mean, there's common traits in every sector. Particularly in this one, you can see, from the behavior and, so somehow when you mentioned the snowflakes, I just remember the Dan Piana for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys that I studied too,
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the guy. He's cool. So what do you think about handling all these emotions? Because you talked about becoming kind of a, because stock market doesn't have emotions. He doesn't, like, stock doesn't care about you, your problems. It's just a stock, right? So how somebody can get rid of that emotion through, because you mentioned some books on psychology, you got into that. So maybe you can recommend a technique, a book, or something that people can follow to get rid of that emotion while trading.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's gonna have emotions. Obviously, we're not robots. We're always gonna have some sort of emotions. But I'll tell you this: if you met me, 7 years ago, I was a very fragile, weak-minded, and just, I was a very weak man. You know what I mean? So, like, it has to do with your mindset. Your mindset has to be tweaked. Human brain is not wired to be into the stock market, right? We are just naturally so you have to tweak it. So I would highly encourage you guys to read this book by Mark Douglas. He's a very genius guy. He changed my trading mindset. Okay, it's called Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, and he also has another great book. It's called The Disciplined Trader. Okay, so with reading these books and through trading, not only did it get me more money, right, the financial freedom, all that, the big one of the biggest rewards for me has been the personal development side, being disciplined. See, if I am able to do something here, so you guys ever heard of the quote, if how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? How I do one thing with trading affects with everything that I do, right? And that's what is going to make your life a lot better. You're going to be showing up to all of these things on time. You're going to keep your promises. A lot of people don't keep their promises. So what happens? They disrespect themselves. So they don't even trust themselves. A lot of people don't trust themselves. If you tell yourself that, you know what, I'm going to start taking cold showers right tomorrow morning. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m., right? And you're the guy that always wakes up at 8 a.m., right? Then the next morning, you have to wake up at 5 a.m. because if you tell your brain what to do, you should do it, right? Are you going to let the brain tell you what to do? No, you are the master. You're the controller of your brain. You go take that cold shower right now. You go do it. You wake up at 5 a.m. You wake up right then at 5 a.m. Once you start practicing that, right, and you being persistent, right? You heard the term, I say this, if you want to keep, if you want to, have what you want, be persistent. If you want to keep that at it, you want to keep at it forever, just like, you want to keep that skill, you be consistent. It's just the development of habits, right? A lot of people, what do? Maybe you might have a good habit, you might have a bad habit. You have a good habit, what's a good habit? When you wake up, you fix your bed, you brush your teeth. The normal thing. That's like a normal thing. You're just like a human behavior. It's like, you're just so used to it as a habit. It's a good habit. Bad habits. People that never, fix their beds, that never really brush their hair. They never, brush their teeth. They show up to work with nasty breath. No wonder they don't want to talk to you, right? So with people, it's all about the starting at, good habits. And this guy, Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, is highly recommended book that I suggest you to read. So, there's a lot of other techniques out there. It's really the psychology aspect. There's a lot of things that a human brain can do. There's a lot of strategies a lot of people can learn from. I really that's what intrigued me to want to learn and study about that in college as well. You know, that's the one thing out of anything in college, man. Every topic, man, boring. But with this thing, I can apply it to the trading. Not only that, you know, I can start making good money. I can have the freedom. And then, you know, obviously I started changing other people's lives through, you know, my story of, you know, I told you about, you know, me creating my own Stockers accounts, sharing my ideas, people making money off through that website, you know, and they were like, man, you have a service. I'm not a businessman, but then from that on, I noticed people were sharing their results. They were getting so much good feedbacks from me, and there were just, I was over, you know, joyed, you know, it was like a fulfillment feeling. It wasn't even about the money anymore. It's about, man, I'm just overjoyed. I am fulfilled. My life, I have a, you know, purpose that, you know what, if I can teach people and these guys are this happy, these guys are ones that just word of mouth. The business just grew through just word of mouth. You know, people are like, man, you guys check this guy out. Hey man, I made this much money. Hey man, I'm learning, man. You know, I'm just like, wow. And that's how this type of service or business started to go, you know. And you know, you guys know good business is all based on, you know, good service, right? And products too. It has to be a good product, and it can't just like, oh, I want to be a good businessman. Well, do you have a good service? Do you give it all? Do you put the people first? And you know, that's just another topic that we talk about. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what,
Well, I have a question for that as well. You know, no worries. So we're gonna cover that because again, during these times, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you. I mean, people are looking. People now are open-minded. Like they have the eyes open, and now they're like, "Oh my God! Like, what should I do right now? Because my job is kind of a shaky situation. I don't know if I'm going to go back or the company is going to go underwater. Like, what's going to happen? You know, 6 months from now? I mean, there's coronavirus, there's killer bees, there's Minneapolis stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things going on." And it's
yeah.
not even in the States. I'm talking, you know, with the people of the States. I mean, there's Europe, there's, you know, Asia, there's all the continents, and people are suffering and people looking for ways to survive. Again, what David is saying, it shouldn't be a strategy just to survive, but maybe that's where some people are going to start. And that's,
Mhm.
look, whatever you have to do. So yeah, so definitely covering that. I think one question that I have, again, for the people, paper trading, right? So how much time people should spend, you know, paper trading before they actually go and start trading in the stock market? Would you recommend it, or would you recommend kind of open an account with a broker and start trading from the first day? Like, what's your approach?
Yeah, I mean, it's a smart thing to do. You know, you don't want to be like me back in the days, a little naive and just overly excited. I want to make money right off the bat. That's not going to happen. Okay. I mean, it could. You can get yourself a lucky break, but think about it, right? It's like, you know, if you want to be a great golf player, you don't just sit in the couch and watch how Tiger Woods swings. And then next thing you know, you're gonna go with your buddies to the golf range and decide that, you know what, I'm gonna be a good golf player because I've been studying Tiger Woods watching. No, you have to actually simulate yourself and actually practice, right? It's the same thing in the trading market. The great thing about it is that you don't have to risk your hard-earned money. You can go in, make a free, let's say like a free demo account where it's real time. So you're actually trading that stock real time, but not with your real money, but with a virtual fake money. And you can practice getting yourself feeling, you know, I'm going to buy here, I'm going to sell here. And that's the best way to do it. Now, based on my past experience of seeing my students, you know, it ranges. You know, the guy that obviously works very hard, studies hard, they can get started as early as like, man, like 2-3 weeks. You know, usually an average person that, you know, doesn't really want to put in that much work, you know, or study, you know, they want to take their time. You know, most people take longer. You know, I mean, it will take up to about, you know, two months, about 2 to 3 months. Some people like to take their time. 3 months is very, very solid. 3 months of just practicing in and out. And now that you feel like, okay, I feel ready to play with my real hard-earned money, they deposit their money into the brokerage account, and then that's when they start their journey.
Mm. I think it's been 2 months because people are used to work before. So they used to have less hours in a day, but I think now time is definitely available. And I see like
Mhm.
going through the YouTube sometimes, you know, you wander off and you see like all these comments. And like, if you look at most of the YouTube like video right now, just go on to YouTube and pick any video, you're going to find the top comment is going to be, "Hey, I'm just here watching while I'm in quarantine." So that's what people are doing. People are spending a lot of time, particularly when it comes to educational content. They are looking for ways to learn and educate themselves, particularly when it comes to, making money. So, I mean, so the time is available over there for you guys. So one topic that I wanted to cover with you, because again, we are moving forward. We're living in information age, right? It's
Yep.
not like we know that. And technology is taking over everything. I mean, talking about transportation, healthcare, education, and financial services being same. So what do you think about AI? Big topic, right? AI, in the future, what do you think? Is it going to take over the financial industry, including the trading as well?
I think there is already a hot market for AI. I've already been researching into it. I still personally think it's too early. I don't think we have the technology where it's going to revolutionize anything, where people can literally be hands off and just trust the robot to make their trades and return them this money. I know most of the AI products out there in the market now, from what I see, there's always risks involved. Personally for me, I'm a firm believer that you yourself need to learn how to do things. In everything that you do. I don't know what the future looks like. It could be a dark future. Who knows? If we let everyone just let AIs take over and do everything, I don't think that's a good idea, personally, for me. So for me, I'm a firm believer that, what, you yourself need to make it happen. You yourself need to study. You yourself need to have the knowledge. And hey, listen, like, if I can do it, my students can do it, then you can do it. You don't need to rely on artificial intelligence. I know it's very, very dreamy. It sounds like almost too good to be. I mean, it sounds very nice, right? Because I can just not do anything and let the AI profit. Now, these other guys on social media, what are they doing? They found that market, right, to what? To sell them this kind of lifestyle. Oh, look at me, I'm in the beach, and I just
Mhm.
let my AI on my phone trade, and I'm up like 5,000, whatever they want to claim. So you have to be very smart. From my experience and from what I've tested them out. It's still not ready. It's still not there enough for you to completely trust it. You still have to be getting in on there and still manually be able to manage it. So personally, for me, I'm not a big believer of AI right now. Maybe 20 years later or whatever it is, the number of years, I think it just requires more time.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's already available. Like, the big hedge funds and the banks, the big banks are
Yeah,
trading
yeah.
using AI, to bring, huge
So
returns for the investors.
what?
But I mean,
Yeah,
for a day-to-day person, I
yeah,
mean, it's not accessible unless you have billions of dollars to input
yeah.
into the computers and, like build these warehouses of a storage units where you basically store all these, past data, and the AI just trades from there. So it's not available again for a day-to-day person, for people that are watching this, and us. But big banks are doing it. So it just depends, like what the time frame is going to be, how long, technology is going to, move in if that fast that it's going to be on every computer and people, but it's going to be a long time, I think.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's very common sense. People just need to have common sense. Like, the banks are using a lot because the banks. What do you think? The money that we put into our banks, we think they're just gonna sit there? No, obviously they're using our money to these little AIs, and they're making money off. But then this is the big money they're talking about. So even if the AI can produce like 2%, that's a lot of money for them. For guys like us, the retail traders, the guys. Even if you had millions of dollars, it really wouldn't. They're we're talking about trillions here with the banks. We're not,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, exactly. So talking about a little bit lower amounts, talking about 310,000 a day. So how someone can make this amount of money? Because it's still, for somebody who's watching this interview, they think like, oh my God, this is crazy money. I will be happy with $300 per day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your course is all about? What is your business is all about? How you can help people? Because I would love to for you explain, because I've seen the website, it looks great. I mean, you have 600 plus members, so it's a big community of people, that people are going to be part of. So if you just take it from there and just explain what people are going to get by starting a membership with you.
Yeah, so I call it my family. Anyone that joins in, we're like a very tight knit group. Everyone, we want them to succeed. So the moment you sign up, you're gonna get an email with a list of step-by-step instructions on what to do next. Right? Create this account, do this. Now you're in. Now, once you're in, you're going to get yourself right now, what we're doing is we're doing a promotion right now. We're doing this deal where I'm giving you a free course, right? Instead of me selling it, I'm just going to give it to you for free once you join the family trading team. Okay. So the trading team costs $150 a month, right? Just no other things, no flat fees, just nothing else. $150 a month. Come in, and I get on live morning trading session calls every single day. So I use this mic, I get on. What's going on, everybody? Good morning, and we are back. Welcome to the Best Stock Trading Team. I talk about the stocks that I think is going to be the best stocks for us to trade. So I explain to them why we are looking at these stocks. So for example, these stocks came out with this news. This is the area. So I start looking at, I'm telling people, hey guys, I'm sharing my screen. I'm sharing my scanners, these tools that they can have access to where they can be able to find stocks on their own as well. But the whole part of a trading team is to trade together, okay, as a team, right? So, basically I am the leader where I am the one that is analyzing the stocks for them and also teaching them how I do this so that they can learn that themselves, right? So the whole point of it is so that you can get this learning very fast by tuning into the live training sessions every single day and hearing me and seeing me where I'm looking to buy the stock and where I'm looking to sell the stock, right? So that's why, a lot of people like that aspect. Another thing is that, once you join, you'll have the total access to my beginner course, meaning if you're completely new, you have no idea about the stock market. I made it very simple. I'm a very simple guy, right? I think no need to have all these clutter. Just make it simple, right? So you join, you'll learn about the stock market, you'll learn about the trading, watch the videos, not that long, okay? And then what? You can now start practicing with us day to day with a simulation account. And then once you feel comfortable, now don't get me wrong, it's not that you can't come in and practice with your real money. People do that. A lot of people actually do that. And they start making money on as they go. Now, some people are going to be comfortable depending on their financial situation. Some people may have a lot of money already. We have like multiple different sector people. We have, guys from the, in the medical field, lawyers, judges, we have celebrities that are just, learning how to do this so that way, some people can just, come in for like an hour or 30 minutes and make a trade and they're done. They make a couple hundred to thousands of dollars, okay? There's different methods as well. We also offer what we call swing trading. Swing trading is more for people that, I don't want to necessarily be here every day. Now, I don't recommend that as in, you want to be as much as you can every day. You want to show up, right? If you're serious and you committed. But for people that are really, really like very busy, like I understand, you really run multiple businesses. We have what's called swing trading where you can go ahead and learn about it, where you can buy a stock and hold it for a few remaining days. And then at the moment we reach the amount of time and the target is where we're going to go ahead and look to sell. So on average, they like to sell when they reach about 30% return, which is really pretty good. So that's another attractive side of it. And we also offer we have options for people that want to get into option trading. I personally don't. I have another guy in the team that runs it and manages. So if you guys want to learn that too, we offer that. But basically, it's going to be mainly for me. My specialty is in the day trading side where I teach people how to get in, get out successfully with good risk management. And through that, you can also learn these other trading methodologies that you can do. And it doesn't matter whether you want to trade Amazon or not. With the strategies that you guys take in, you can apply that to anything, okay? So that's what I teach and do every single day. And they have access to flashcards, the educational ebooks and e-videos, everything that I learned the past 7-8 years. I curated. Like I said, remember, when you don't pay for things, you don't get serious. So when you pay attention, and you will get the quality things that took me 3 years. I trimmed it down. I trimmed the fat down to where what is the best education out there, and then compel and share with the team.
It's beautiful. Again, for the people who want to check it out, go to prosperity-trading.com. So just to see, because I'm just looking at the website, it looks beautiful. I mean, there's so much information that is provided. And I mean, people are paying a fraction for being part of this group and just learning how to do this. And I mean, because the big part, as you guys and girls seeing. It's a lot of it is educating yourself with the right content, because there's a lot of stuff. I mean, you're not gonna become a successful trader by just watching YouTube videos or taking the free courses, grabbing from all over the place. You want to stick with the people that are playing this, playing this game for a long time, which is 6, 7, 8 years for you. It's been quite a long journey, and it continues, and you're still here, during these times, and you're helping a lot of people. So, I mean, there's a track record, there is results, there's everything for people to.
I'm very confident, I'm very
Exactly.
confident.
And I see that. That's what I like about you, because you're confident, because you know what you do. You're a master of this. That's why your name is David Kang. I mean, you're the king of the trading, right? So, Mr. Investor. So, man, it's just exciting. It's always exciting to have you on, just
Appreciate that.
sharing all the knowledge and teaching people how to do better these times. Because who knows? Look, at the end of the day, who knows how long is this going to continue? Is the killer bees going to stay, or there's some mutant sharks are going to swim around, or I don't know what the government is going to come up with? But you have to make your own decisions, and you have to continue with your life, and just do whatever it takes. And sometimes that whatever it takes is recreate yourself, which I think right now is going to be for a lot of people kind of this making decision. Man, I need to create myself and just start everything from scratch. And again, knowing David, and he's been in the game for a long time, so I couldn't recommend enough for you guys to go and check it out if you're interested in the stock trading, because as you see, this man is a wealth of knowledge and bringing a lot of free resources even for you. I think you have a YouTube channel available, right?
Yeah. People can check it out as well. Prosperity Trading. Just type it.
A ton of value. So, thank you today for being on the show. And again, we're going to put all the links down below for you guys to follow. Social media platforms, Instagram, you're going to see all the Lambos, all the fancy stuff, all the parties and all of that stuff that you like guys to see. We're going to put you the prosperity-trading.com, where you can go and check it out. The memberships, just get a lot of great info from the website. So again, David, it's been a blast. I learned a ton myself about the trading and having the right mindset on how to, trade in the right way, and, how to work things out. And man, it's been a blessing to have you on today.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, guys. So as always, if you enjoyed the episode, you already know what to do. Click like, subscribe to the channel. If you think that was a great episode, maybe you want to share it with a friend, because it's a free service. You share it with a friend, get him on board, show him that there's ways that you can become wealthy, or just make more money. And that's with stock trading. So again, this is another episode of Really Social Estate. I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys, and I'm going to see you on the next episode. Thanks.